I welcome Kira Rudik, a member of the Ukrainian Parliament. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You were in Bucha. What did you see there?
I have seen the terrors and horrors of the genocide of the Ukrainian nation. I have seen mass graves, over 300 people, 300 dead bodies, many of them with their hands tied behind their backs. Some of the people were killed with their families, and some of them died alone. I have talked to people who survived there. I have talked to people whose children died of pneumonia because they were at the basement for 39 days and didn't see a ray of light. I have talked to women who were raped by Russian soldiers with their children watching. I have talked to women whose husbands were killed right in front of them and then ran over by tanks over and over just for fun. I have talked to people whose families burned alive in the buildings that were hit by a rocket. I have seen so much pain and destruction and horrors and atrocities. We chose to go there along with the other parliamentary leaders because we want the world to know what's going on. We brought in international journalists so they would show people, so they would film it, so we would have the evidence of what is going on right now. And I want to call to all world leaders that right now, when everybody is still procrastinating and hesitating to give us weapons or not, that right now, in the other cities that are occupied by Russian armies, the same horrors are happening. We just are not seeing this. And this is why I'm calling to everybody who can hear. If you don't help us to stop it, you also take the responsibility. It's day 40 of Ukrainian war. And on day 40, we are asking for the same thing that on the day 1, we are asking for heavy weapons, for a wide range of weapons, for the anti-air force protection, for the jets. We are asking for the means to protect us, to save us from the horrors that you see in Bucha, in Irpin, in other places. Because we know that Russians wouldn't stop. Because we know that they will continue killing Ukrainian people just because we exist for no particular reason, for no particular mean. These people in Bucha, they were not armed. They did not resist. They just wanted to survive, and they were killed by Russian soldiers just because they hate us. And for that, they will be prosecuted. We are right now making a list of all Russian soldiers and generals who are responsible for it. And we will make sure that at some point there will be an analogy for a Nuremberg trial. Like the Nazis were prosecuted after the Second World War, Russians will be prosecuted as well. And we will be witnessing it. We'll be making sure that nobody is forgotten and nobody is forgiven.
You talked with people who survived in Bucha. What did they tell about the behavior of the Russians at that place?
They said that Russians were acting like barbarians. They were very surprised that many of the houses had a toilet inside. This is not what they have seen in Russia. They were trying to get the kitchen stoves out of the houses to send them back to Russia. They were stealing women's earrings, you know, like the earrings that you would receive from your grandmother, to send them back to Russia. They were raping women, they were drinking alcohol, and they were acting completely barbarian. They said, you are dirt, and we will free the world of the dirt. This is what they were doing. This is what they were saying.
You also said in other places that the places with red crosses or with white flags were the first to be shot.
Right. At the very beginning, everybody was thinking that normal things like putting a red cross on the car and where the wounded are transported, that putting the white flag on the car where the children are transported would be a good sign to keep safe. But then they realized that this is the main thing that Russians are attacking. That, like, you remember the theater in Mariupol where there was a word children on the ground in front of the theater. So the same, and it made Russians hit it with a rocket. So same thing happened in Bucha, that the places where it was said children were attacked first. It seems it's Russian strategy to kill where it hurts, to hit when it hurts the most.
Do you have information about what is happening in other areas that are still occupied by the Russians?
We have very limited information about what is going on there. But I can tell you that from what we have seen in Bucha and Irpin, in other places, we anticipate that there will be things worse. At least in Bucha, there was no hunger. People still have some food saved. In Mariupol, we know that people are eating pigeons. We know that they're eating dogs. We know that they are starving.
What can Ukraine do and what can other countries do to put Vladimir Putin and other perpetrators on trial?
So Ukraine is gathering evidence. We are making sure that we have everything possible and impossible collected about the crimes of Russian soldiers. You have heard Russia yesterday. They are saying it didn't happen. Well, we were in war with Russia for 8 years. And we know for sure that this is what they will be doing, denying everything. And this is why we are collecting the information. We'll make sure that Putin and his soldiers will stand up to international tribunal. But for that, we will need the help of the Western countries. We will need help and support, not just condemnation and hopes. We will need a strong position of the Western countries and Western leaders. This is not what we see right now. On the day 40 of Ukrainian war, we still asking for the same things. Today there will be United Nations sitting. And my question to United Nations would be, what are these United Nations? And do they want to be united with Russia? Or should it be expelled from the organization right away? Because this is what I believe should happen.
Why do you think, what would you say, why the Russians are doing such horrible things to Ukrainians?
Vladimir Putin said he denies us the right to exist. He says that Ukraine is a made-up nation, made-up country that was always a part of Russia. They just didn't realize it. But we, with what we have built here in Ukraine, with what we have achieved, with what our nation stands for, we know that this is not true. We are free people in a free country. We make sure that we are responsible for our own choices. And this is what we are ready to fight for, and this is what we are ready to die for.
What would you say to Russian people who still support Putin?
I would say that the blood of Ukrainian children is on their hands, that at some point they will realize what is happening and what they are responsible for. And there will be generations of people who are ashamed of themselves. And there is still time. There is still time to overthrow him. There is still time to stop this.
Do you think it's possible that Vladimir Putin would in fact stand trial, will be put in front of the court?
I think in the middle of Second World War, nobody believed that Hitler would stand trial. And if he wouldn't kill himself, he would stand a trial. So I do believe that at some point we'll find a way to hold Putin responsible.
Thank you very much, Kira Rudik, member of Ukrainian Parliament. Thank you very much for this conversation. We keep praying for Ukraine, we keep praying for your victory and for justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and glory to Ukraine.
Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.